So, hi, and welcome to a roadmap for partnerships and profitability, a financial health network webinar exclusive to you and your fellow members. My name is Josh Sledge, and I'm a senior director on the program team at the Financial Health Network. And I'm excited to be moderating today's webinar, and I think we've got a great hour ahead of us. So today we'll explore how partnerships can connect consumers with financial guidance and support tools that can build financial health. And then we'll also look at how these types of partnerships can impact profitability and align the success of a provider with that of their customers, the proverbial business case for financial health. So in terms of our agenda, we'll share a little bit more about how we view the business case and give a little bit of a sneak peek of an upcoming report that we're developing to look into the business case for providing financial guidance and support tools, particularly for coping and vulnerable customers. We'll then hear from some of your fellow network members who will share how they're working with partners to connect consumers with guidance and support tools and how they contribute to a sustainable business strategy. And then we'll spend the latter half of our time in a discussion and talking a little bit about how you can focus on consumer financial health in ways that improve business metrics and how to go about building partnerships that allow you to put that strategy in play. Now, I'm joined today by a fantastic group of panelists. We have Rochelle Gorey, the co-founder and CEO of SpringFour, Sarah Livnat, the Vice President of Community Engagement and Impact at Opportune, and Megan Wong, the Senior Director of Strategy and Growth at Earn. I'll let them introduce themselves and their organizations a bit later, but I know they've got some great things to share about their experiences and perspectives, so I'll try to stay out of their way. But before we turn it over to them, I just wanted to provide a bit of context for our conversation today. As we love to do with the network, we start with our mission, which is improving financial health for all. You all are members and have probably seen this definition frequently, but we see financial health being when your daily systems help you build resilience and pursue opportunities. In the day-to-day, do you have those cash flow systems that allow you to pay bills on time and stay on top of a budget? Are you resilient to financial shocks like a car blowing a tire or needing to make a repair to your home? And can you pursue whatever opportunities are most important to you? Do you want to buy a house, send your kids to college, retire, start a business, whatever it is that you want to go about? Last year, we launched our Financial Health Pulse survey to get a sense for how Americans are doing against the 8 indicators that we've developed for financial health. Those are pictured here on the right. And we found that only 28% of Americans are financially healthy. The rest are either coping, meaning they are struggling with some, but not necessarily all aspects of their financial lives, or they're vulnerable, which means they're struggling with all or nearly all aspects of their financial health. So coping and vulnerable consumers need and are looking for providers to offer the types of products, tools, and guidance that can help them address their financial health challenges. And this opens up a business opportunity to fill that need. We believe that a business strategy that's oriented around consumer financial health offers banks, credit unions, lenders, and other providers an avenue for growth, profitability, and sustainability. And simply put, financially healthier customers are better customers. So we started exploring the business case for financial health last year as a part of our overall financial health research initiative, which is sponsored by the MetLife Foundation, and we certainly thank them for their support. We released a brief last March laying out our framework for how providers can align customer and business success, and we've been following up on that work to dive deeper into the business case for specific interventions that have really been proven to improve financial health. So in particular, we started by looking into strategies that provide financial guidance and support tools to financially coping and vulnerable customers. Now, when I say that, financial guidance and support tools, what exactly do we mean by that? So unlike more formal investment advisory or wealth management services that you might see for high net worth individuals, these are forms of advice, guidance, or some kind of tool to help people address financial challenges that are more immediate to them, such as struggles with debt or difficulties managing a budget, or enable them to pursue financial goals such as saving to build an emergency fund or improving their credit. We've got a spectrum of common models of financial guidance and support tools to give you a little bit better sense of what we're talking about here, and this ranges from the high tech to high touch. So on the high tech side, these are the kind of digital tools, personal financial management or PFM tools that have traditionally helped users aggregate their financial picture, figure out how they want to manage their money, and maybe track their progress along some goals that they are developing. Traditionally we've seen these be relatively static, but more and more we're seeing analytics being brought to the fore to help provide some actionable guidance and recommendations via these types of digital platforms. A lot of fintech providers are offering them, as well as third-party solutions. An example of that being the SaverLife platform from Earn, and we'll hear a little bit more about that a bit later. On the far side, the far right here, the high touch category, these are the more kind of traditional one-on-one financial coaching or counseling programs that can help people develop plans and improve their financial health and provide some accountability and tracking on an ongoing basis as people are really trying to put those plans into action. Typically, we've seen this be the purview of a lot of nonprofit organizations and credit counselors, but more and more we're seeing financial services providers either offering these types of sources in-house or partnering with others to bring those types of resources to their customers, or weaving elements of the coaching and counseling model into the work that they do day to day. And we'll hear a little bit more from Opportune about how they're thinking about these types of partnerships to bring this to the fore. And in between, we have these kind of hybrid models that really blend both elements of the one-on-one coaching model and digital tools. And I think SpringFour is a great example here of how you can provide platforms or some kind of tech that can empower customer service representatives and others to give people the kind of advice that can really make a difference in their financial lives. And we'll hear more about their model through this work. So all three of these really rely on partnerships in the way that they operate and bring these kind of guidance and support tools to the fore. So these are interesting models and examples, but the key question is, are they effective in helping customers build financial health? And this question was really key to our research, and we dug into some academic evaluations and case studies to try to gauge the impact, and the answer is yes. These types of guidance and support tools can really be effective in moving the needle, particularly for coping and vulnerable consumers. We saw digital platforms and high-touch coaching programs helping LMI customers and others that are struggling financially save between $500 and $2,500, reduce their debt by $1,000 to $3,000, and improve their credit scores by up to 60 points based on some of the observed case studies and research that we saw. So these types of improvements can really be positive for profitability drivers. They can lead to larger deposit balances, reduce delinquencies, improve credit access, which allows you to expand the relationship you may have with your customers to help them pursue their financial goals. And also in an indirect way, this kind of demonstration of a commitment to a customer's financial health can help to build trust and really extend and deepen the relationship, which can lead to increased customer lifetime value. It can make employees feel good about what they're able to provide to their customers, and overall lead to enhanced reputational and brand value. So with the rest of our time, I'm going to turn to the panelists, and we'll hear a little bit about the solutions they're developing, the partnerships they're building, and how they're seeing customer financial health improvements translate to a profitable and sustainable business strategy. So to kick things off, we have Rochelle Gorey, the co-founder and CEO of SpringFour. And Rochelle, I will turn this to you.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I'm happy to be here today to share more about the work that we're doing at SpringFour. So at SpringFour, we believe that when people are living paycheck to paycheck and are experiencing financial challenges, they need and deserve to be connected to local, reputable organizations that can assist. So we built a technology solution, a cloud-based solution that directs people to vetted and curated local nonprofit and government agencies. We are a certified B Corporation, and we're very proud of that status because it says to our customers and to the world that we have social impact as part of our mission. To date, we've made over 1 million referrals to financial health resources, helping get people back on track, paying and saving again. And we provide resources and referrals in over 400 cities across the nation. So we're nationwide, and we do so in 30 different financial health categories. So if you think about a person's household budget and all of the things that go into that, we're helping to reduce household expenses, increase cash flow, so we can get them paying and saving again. And we do that through two tools that we offer to our subscribers. So we are a B2B solution, and we have created two products. You can go ahead and flip the slide, Josh. We have our S4 Pro tool, which is used primarily in a call center environment, although some of our subscribers use it in face-to-face appointments in branch locations. And that allows a call center or a counselor to search for and look for local financial health resources by zip code and provide referrals in those 30 different categories that I mentioned. And then we also have our direct tool, which allows a consumer to search for those same resources themselves 24/7 on our subscribers' consumer-facing website. And both of those tools provide a route to quality vetted financial health resources. And I'm happy to share today the impact that our solution is creating with our partners. So we really believe that we've created a win-win strategy, because not only does the consumer win through connections to vetted financial health resources, but our subscribers and partners are seeing significant results as a result of SpringFour. So I think definitely increasing repayment rates is number one. So we've had some of our subscribers track and measure the results of providing SpringFour referrals on their loan portfolios, and it's having significant impacts. And so when you think about it, it does make sense. If we're able to address the reason why a customer can't pay, if we can address that why, we can get them paying and saving again. And the results with our partners demonstrate that that is absolutely true. In addition, we do surveys of our users, and we have found that typically on a monthly basis, people who receive referrals through SpringFour are reducing their household expenses by around $250 per month, sometimes even more. And that's really a great impact number to have. I think everyone that's on this call knows and understands that the vast majority of Americans can't afford a $400 unexpected expense. So when we're able to help people reduce household expenses by at least $250 per month, we're putting them in a much better position to get back on track and to avert any other additional financial crises or challenges that might arise. In addition, we're tracking and seeing what we call sort of more intangible results. So Josh alluded to these on that prior slide, but we're seeing that through SpringFour, we're able to provide a better customer experience, that customers are absolutely happy and feel welcomed by the institution that is providing these referrals to them. They feel listened to and heard, and so it's resulting in an overall better experience. And then we're also able to help change the conversation in the collection environment. We're empowering employees to be able to be empathetic, to listen to the challenge that their customer is facing and be able to provide them with assistance. So all of this is creating a win-win strategy, not only for the consumer, but for our customers and partners that are with us along for the ride in this financial health journey. You can change the slide. Yep. So, just go back a sec. We've thought long and hard about what are the keys to our success, and we look at mission alignment with the partners that we're working with, absolutely committed to financial health, looking to innovate, looking to trying to do things differently. And when we see that, we have great mission alignment with them, and we're seeing significant results, and we're able to really quickly scale and impact with our partners because of our vast database and because of the ability to provide referrals no matter where a consumer lives. And we're really excited that we're able to make the business case and show results, not only at the customer level, but for the organization as a whole. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rochelle. Really appreciate the overview there, and I'm really looking forward to digging in a little bit more about SpringFour and what you're learning through your work. Next up, we have Sarah Livnat, the VP of Community Engagement and Impact at Opportune. Sarah, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Josh. It's really great to be here today with everyone. So let me get started by explaining and sharing a little bit about who Opportune is, for those of you who aren't familiar. So we are a mission-driven, technology-powered provider of inclusive and affordable financial services. We are also a certified CDFI, CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institution, and CDFIs are organizations that have a certified mission of providing capital and supportive services to underserved communities in the U.S. We were certified in 2009 by the U.S. Treasury Department, which is the government organization which runs the program. So you can see our mission here, providing inclusive, affordable financial services that empower our customers. We seek to serve the 100 million people in the United States who are shut out of the financial mainstream because they are either credit invisible, meaning they don't have a credit score, or they're misscored because they have a limited credit history. These would be folks from the Financial Health Network's perspective and the analysis they did who are vulnerable or struggling. Without a credit score, it is very hard to borrow money from a mainstream financial institution. Lending or borrowing from financial institutions is pretty much connected. You need to have a credit score in order to be eligible. And so if you don't have one or you don't have enough information in your file, then you're pretty much left with alternative options that come with really high rates and don't have realistic payment terms and can leave you worse off than when you started. So that's the problem that we set out to solve in 2005 when we were founded. We made our first loan in 2006, and since then we have provided over 3 million affordable small dollar loans, totaling over $6.8 billion, and we've served over 1.4 million customers, the vast majority of whom live in low to moderate income census tracts. And by providing a more affordable alternative, we've helped save our customers an estimated $1.4 billion in interest and fees. And this is actually thanks to a study that was commissioned by us and conducted by the Financial Health Network. And additionally, another statistic, kind of impact metric that we're really proud of is the fact that we've helped over 730,000 people who came to us originally without a FICO score start establishing credit. And so that really lends itself to empowering our customers for the long term. Go to the next slide. Thanks. So we're a mission-driven company. We are committed to financial inclusion, and we've designed our business and our products with our customers' interests really at the center. Everything about our company is built on this sentence here, which is we succeed when our customers succeed. And first and foremost, that starts with the products that we have. So we've designed them to be responsible and affordable. Our core offering is an unsecured, fully amortizing installment loan, and it ranges in size from $300 to $9,000, and it's repayable over 6 to 46 months, and it features fixed and affordable payments, and people do not need a credit history to apply. A first-time customer actually can on average, saves over $1,000 on their first opportune loan. Because we charge so much less than alternatives that are typically available to them. And then, of course, we've designed the payments to be affordable and really geared to our customer repayment success. And since in our history, 92% of our payments of our loans have actually been repaid. And we're also very proud of that statistic as well. Other alternatives cost, on average, 4 times more than an opportune loan and can be up to 7 times higher. And again, this is according to the study that was conducted by the Financial Health Network. So this mindset of succeeding when customers succeed extends beyond the products that we offer and into the community programs that we've built. So you can go to the next slide, Josh. So we are at Opportune, we're building a community of employees, partners, and customers that are devoted to helping our communities succeed. And we work together with our partners to deepen the impact in the communities that we serve. Unidos US is one of our partners. They are the nation's largest Latino civil rights and advocacy organization. And together, we've built a program to provide free financial coaching to our customers. Unidos US financial coaches help our customers set financial goals so that they can make their dreams a reality. And what you're looking at here is a flyer that we've developed, which highlights all of our community programs that we offer. And you can see how we talk about Unidos US and the opportunity to access free financial coaching with customers in the field. So from a product perspective, we embed credit education into our loan disbursement process. That's really important. So many customers are coming to us without any credit experience that we want to take that opportunity while they're attentive and kind of in that mindset to really explain how the credit system works, the importance of having a credit score, and how to pay that, how they can improve or establish credit by paying their loan back on time. But what we recognized is that there was a real opportunity to deepen that impact by serving customers on a more one-on-one basis, more and more specific to their financial picture and needs. And so that's where Unidos US came in. We knew that the way we were set up a business, the way that we're set up as a business didn't really allow us to have those deep one-on-one conversations of, an hour or more. And so Unidos US, they built out a phone-based financial coaching service. And so we partnered together to pilot that in 2017, late in the year. And then earlier this year, we expanded that partnership, and we're now offering it system-wide across our entire retail network, which totals over 320 locations in 9 of our 12 states. So the partnership was a real kind of natural one for us to pursue. We really understand each other's missions. We're very mission aligned, and they have been fantastic partners to work with. So the way it works is we talk to our customers in the retail locations, and we talk about just the benefits of financial coaching, and we encourage them to call. And it's very easy for them. Literally what they do is they call that toll-free number, and they're able to talk to a financial coach. Initially, they had to set up an appointment, but now Unidos US has expanded their capabilities, and so they're able to, in many cases, talk to that customer right away and really help meet their pressing needs. The coach will spend about 45 minutes to an hour talking with them about their financial goals, answering questions, and then helping them to put together a plan to meet their goals. And then they'll follow up about 4 to 6 weeks later for a follow-up call to see how they're doing. So our partnership started small, and we didn't really know what level of interest there might be. There was a lot of unknowns in terms of providing financial coaching to this particular audience of people who are really struggling and are financially vulnerable and just have not really experienced the benefits of financial coaching. We have been really pleased with the results. So to date, we have talked to over 2,000 people. We've completed over 900 financial coaching sessions, and we've helped. What we've seen is that those financial coaching sessions have helped our customers reduce their debt by more than $157,000 and increase their savings by over $30,000. One of my favorite stories about the program was actually an employee of ours who called in. She and her partner were wanting to buy a house, but she just didn't think it was possible and had no idea where to begin. And after talking to one of our Unidos US financial coaches, she came away with a list of actionable steps that she and her partner could take to get started, and said that what felt impossible now felt completely doable. So that's just a really good example of how this really targeted, high-touch interaction can really set someone up on a long-term trajectory for financial success. So the next one I want to talk about is our partnership with SpringFour. So you heard from Rochelle, so I don't have to explain who SpringFour is. They have really allowed us to be helpful and responsive to our customers' needs in a much more profound way. We rolled this out to our staff in our retail locations, and so our retail staff is using that S4 Pro, and then we also rolled it out to our collections group who sit in our contact centers. And we rely on SpringFour to help customers when they come to us proactively and ask for advice and referrals. We wanted to make sure that we had a database of reputable and vetted organizations that we could, with confidence, be able to refer our customers to who are local, right? Local organizations that can help them. And then, as you can imagine, on the collection side, when we're talking with customers who are either late in making their payments or maybe facing unexpected hardships, being able to kind of help set them in a direction where they can go to get additional support is really fantastic. It really helps change the conversation with our customers. I think we know we're a mission-driven company, and our customers, I think, understand that. But when you're having a conversation about a late payment, that's a stressful conversation. And so to be able to lean on SpringFour and use those referrals and resources to really help communicate to our customer that we're on their side and that we are really interested in their long-term success and that we're going out of our way to help connect them to these helpful local resources is, fantastic and is a total win-win both for the customer and for us. So over the last year and a half, we've made over 60,000 referrals to customers across all of these different locations, and so that's a number that we're really proud of. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate the overview, and it's interesting to see the kind of combination of approaches you've been able to take at Opportune, and great to hear some of the impact stats there. And last but certainly not least, we have Megan Wong, the Senior Director of Strategy and Growth from Earn. So Megan, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Josh. I'm so glad to be here today and in such good company with great other groups. So let me give a quick overview of Earn and SaverLife, and then I wanted to dive into a case study that I feel really illustrates this idea of financially healthy customers being better customers. So before we dive into that, let me just share a little bit about who we are. So Earn is a national nonprofit founded in 2001 to help working families achieve prosperity through savings. We started off as an in-person nonprofit helping local families in the Bay Area save for long-term goals. And in 2016, we launched SaverLife, which is our consumer-facing savings platform that now helps over 160,000 members build habits of saving. And we do that savings habit building through a number of different behavioral interventions, financial content, gamification and prizes, nudges, and perhaps most well-known is our incentive system. So we've given away over $500,000 to families who are building that savings habit since we began SaverLife. So with that intro, let me go and share about a particular case study, again, that highlights this value that we're finding for both the consumer, for our partners, and for us as an organization. So this is actually a great case study to share on a Financial Health Network webinar because we met Patelco, which is a local credit union here in Northern California that has over 350,000 members. So it's no small credit union, and it's very much an industry leader. But we actually met them at Emerge last year. And it was really interesting when we first started talking to them. It was very clear that we had strong mission alignment, as many have discussed today. Strong mission alignment of serving the same customers, of building financial health. But there were a couple of other considerations that we also discussed in that first meeting. First, that price-linked savings, which is something that has become more and more common throughout our country, and that Earn actually has dipped its toe into for about the last year and a half. Price-linked savings became legal in California recently, and Patelco was interested in finding a way to use the power of prizes to incentivize positive behaviors within their customer base. They also recently released an auto-save feature, and they wanted their customers to figure out how to use that and to be incentivized to use that new feature that they had offered. And Earn, about a year and a half ago, had launched a game that they really loved, and it was called Scratch and Save. Every week that our savers save at least $5, they receive a digital scratch card in their email that they can scratch off, and they might be one of 100 to 200 winners every single week. And it's fun. It's very engaging. We saw that in the first month of releasing the game that people's savings activity was boosted about 16%. And the game has been played over 60,000 times since we launched it. And so it's really popular among our member base. And Patelco was interested in figuring out how they could launch something similar with their own member base. So it was a lot of discussions, and any of you who do partnerships at your organizations know that sometimes these discussions just take a long time. And so you can see that there's actually a year between when we started discussing with Patelco the goals, the objectives, the different options, how we would implement it, to when we actually launched the game. And here's a screenshot of the actual the website where people go to play this Patelco savings game that's powered by Earn and SaverLife. You can see that it's completely Patelco branded. That was really important for them to roll it out as a credit union to their own member base. And that they found $100,000 in their budget to do prizes for this campaign, which is really exciting, a great headline number, and really good to excite customers about the potential of playing. So we launched this game about 6 weeks ago, and I'm really pleased to announce that what started as just a pilot with a small number of financially coping and vulnerable customers has now been actually released to all Patelco members, their whole 350,000 member base. And my favorite stat about our first 6 weeks together is that the share rates for this campaign are over 70%, which is truly incredible. This is way higher than Earn, Scratch, and Save share rates. And I think it has to do with, again, this really strong mission alignment between our organizations and the strong loyalty that people have to their credit unions and the very natural way that it fits to have a credit union boosting savings through a specific game like this. So Patelco now is not only using this to boost savings within their organization, but is also using it to acquire new members. And so if you go to the next slide, Josh, I wanted to share a couple examples of what the advertising looks like for this campaign, because I think it's quite exciting. So you can see on the left and in the middle is actually all three of these are Facebook ad examples. And so we have a 15-second video on the left, kind of a still image with text in the middle, and then an image of the first $10,000 winner for our game on the right. So this is Joseph. He's a saver from Oakland, works in construction and is working on one of the biggest buildings in Oakland. So great hometown roots. And he wants to save for a down payment within the next 5 years. And he was our first $10,000 winner. Basically, the way that the game works is there's small prizes and then there's a big headline prize every month. And Joseph won the first big headline prize. And so Joseph's story is extremely inspiring, and we and Patelco are working together to get his story out there. So if we move over to the next slide, I think that this really illustrates how we can think about a framework for the case for partnerships. How do we truly make this a win-win for our organizations and the partner organizations who are using our digital solutions to create value for their customers? So I broke this up into 3 categories and across 2 different types of groups. Ex-consultant, so I'm all about the charts that look like this. But let me start with these 3 different categories of where I see value for different groups to be building financial health. And so the first one is customer loyalty. And we see this with financial services providers who we've partnered with, like Patelco and LendUp, where it's a really unique financial health benefit to be able to partner with a group like Earn and SaverLife to offer a fun and engaging savings benefit. There's not that many groups that do that. And so there's a customer loyalty piece there. Similarly, Earn also does work with employers. We have a 5-year partnership with the Red Tab Foundation, which serves Levi Strauss & Co. employees. And we just started working this year with HCA, which is a large healthcare group based in the South, with their Hope Fund, which again is their employee assistance fund. And one quote that I still remember from one of our Levi savers is, "This is what a good employer should do." And she's a store manager. She's told that to the people who work in her store. And I think offering this kind of savings benefit, this short-term emergency savings benefit, is perceived as a really innovative thing and makes your customers more loyal, driving more customer lifetime value and other things, as Josh was sharing earlier. There's also real cost savings to these different types of groups. So again, starting with financial services providers, for groups like Patelco, it's a great way to acquire new members, and it might even be a lower member acquisition cost than doing a giant marketing campaign, because there's real stories and real benefits behind the things that we're talking about. It's also potentially lower marketing costs for people to use new features. The jury's still out on how many people at Patelco are actually using this new autosave feature because of this campaign. But I suspect, and I hope that we can say at the end of this, that we really did incent people to utilize these new features that otherwise a group would have to, incent in other ways. For employers, there's also real cost savings, and actually the Financial Health Network has done a lot of great research to understand what is the business case for financial health with employers. Some of my favorite stats are that workers with high financial stress are 2 times more likely to use sick time than those who are not ill. That a third of workers say that issues with personal finances have been a distraction at their work. And these are stats that we share with employers when we go out there and talk about why savings is really important and an important benefit to offer to their employees, because there's real cost savings there with decreased usage of employee assistance funds and lower employee turnover, and eventually more productive and less stressed employees. And the last category that I wanted to share was it creates better customers, more financially healthy customers. So for financial services providers, again, like Patelco and LendUp, for lenders specifically, when savers have emergency savings, they're going to be more reliable at making their payments on time and fully. And for financial services providers like Patelco, there's also increased usage of core product features, whether it be autosave or other accounts that people can use, or just other products that the group might offer. And for employers, as I stated already, when you incent financial health, you're creating better employees. They're less stressed, more productive, can focus more on the job, and hopefully eventually drive impact to your bottom line. And so I'll pause there. That's a lot of content and kind of the way that we're thinking about the case for financial health and the work that we do. And I'll turn it back over to Josh.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you to Rochelle and Sarah as well. I really appreciate you all giving an overview of your work and really setting the stage for a discussion. It's great to hear how your work is really sitting at the intersection between this idea of customer financial health and how that can really drive a profitable and sustainable business strategy. So I'd love to spend some time diving in a little bit. I've got some questions I'd love to ask and see if we can get maybe a layer deeper on some of the information you already presented. I also want to encourage all the attendees as well. If you see on your GoToMeeting webinar tool, there's a spot for audience Q&A. If you have a question, please submit it. We'll keep our eye out and make sure we can ask as many of those as possible over the next 25 minutes or so here. But to kick things off, I'd love to circle back, and thank you again to all of you for sharing some examples or things you're seeing where you're starting to see these shifts in financial health and how those can really translate to overall profitability. I'm wondering, when it comes to that measurement, right? When we're trying to understand whether or not this idea and the theory of financially healthier customers being better customers, what kind of metrics are you tracking to see if that theory is holding true, both in terms of the kind of direct business KPIs, things that may be profitability drivers? I wonder if there are key things that jump out there, as well as on the indirect side, as we think about the customer relationship and lifetime value. How are you seeing either your partners or yourselves trying to measure the overall impact of and that connection between financial health improvement and profitability? Sarah, if it works, I'd love to start with you, from the perspective of a provider here.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. So we have really focused from a business case perspective on the sort of high-level strategic question. Are these community programs that we're offering together with our partners, are they strategically aligned with our mission and with our business? And as a mission-driven business that is really focused on helping our customers succeed over the long term financially, the answer that, at least the hypothesis that we had going into this, was that yes, right, being able to provide access to financial coaching, a one-on-one session was, and also based on the research that we had seen from the CFPB and from other organizations, indicated that yes, this would help customers be able to make real progress forward in their lives. And from an impact perspective, that is absolutely borne out in the stats that I shared in terms of reduced debt and increased savings. In terms of the impact on our business and how that really impacts profitability, like I said, we've really been focused on, I would say, the top line strategic, call them intangible benefits. So, has this, for instance, helped in establishing and supporting the trust that our customers have in us as a mission-aligned business? Has this helped kind of motivate and retain employees? Are we able to kind of enhance or have these community programs really support our top line messaging as a company and kind of the brand of our company and what we stand for? And along all of those, I would say top line strategic elements, the answer has been yes. And what I would kind of say to, and like actually, I should just pause and say the same thing holds true for our relationship with SpringFour and the work that we've been doing both in our retail network and then in our collections group directly with customers. So what I would say to businesses that are interested in exploring these types of partnerships, this is pretty, I would say, relatively new territory. There were a lot of unknowns as we were walking into it. And so we tried to really focus and kind of stay connected to that top line strategic area and not necessarily go deep into the unit level economics right away. If we could prove that top line case and develop that relationship and kind of test and learn with our partners who were mission aligned and very much on board with kind of the value that we wanted to generate, then our belief was that we would eventually be able to develop a unit level economic case which would allow us to expand these programs. And so that's the journey that we're on. So Rochelle and I, we have lots of conversations about how to measure kind of the actual unit level economic performance of SpringFour. And so we've got plans to do this, and it's really wonderful to see the work that she's done also with other clients to be able to demonstrate that.
Yeah, I would just add, thank you, Sarah. This is Rochelle, but I do also want to encourage companies that are looking into this. We're very thankful for some of our early partnerships, one of which was Opportune, willing to go with us in this journey and follow along with what we knew to be true from our experience working in the community, was that if we could address the reason behind somebody's lack of payment, we could get them paying again. But at that point, we didn't have the stats to actually demonstrate that that was indeed true. But Opportune, and along with some of our other clients, have been along with us on this journey. And now we are at the point, other subscribers and Opportune is beginning to measure this as well. And we are showing a definite results that do translate to increased profitability, decreases in costs. And I mentioned some of those before, but I think it is really important to sometimes be willing, if there is the mission alignment and there is the desire to get to those financial health outcomes. I think we all believe that this is a problem we can solve and the data comes later. And I think an important part of that as well is that when we're working in partnership, that we've got to be able to figure out a way to share those results, right? Because when we can share those results, more and more companies and people get excited about this idea of financial health and seeing that it can be solvable, that we can assist customers in moving up that ladder, getting financially healthier. And so, now we are tracking, we're seeing at the beginning when we were introducing our tools into the call center environment, everyone thought that it would make calls last longer, which would increase costs. But we're actually seeing the opposite happen. Call times are going down because now agents have the tools to assist and listen and move their borrower along. We're seeing repayment rates increase. We're seeing participation in loan modification and foreclosure intervention programs increase. We're seeing delinquent balances decrease. And all of that says to us is when people can actually be directed to resources and programs and tools that can help them with what's happening in their lives today, we can make a difference.
Yeah, I'll weigh in also from Ern's perspective. I think like SpringFour and Opportune, we do see that there is a case for strong impact metrics here, but haven't quite established the one big headline number or percentage that we would like to have, because all of this is quite new. But I think with as I was sharing earlier, I think some of the metrics that we're trying to be measuring right now and creating a case for, on the employer side, it's things like, does increased savings improve your retention and your productivity? And, you can do the math of how much it takes to retrain a new employee and multiply it out and see that, the cost to offer a savings program is actually a really great deal for you as an employer. For groups like for Patelco and other credit unions who are working with us, I think that there's also a real dollars and cents case to be made if we can prove that campaigns like this help with new member acquisition, that they improve usage of core features and improve repayment rates on other products that the credit union is offering. I think that there's a real possibility to have strong metrics there, and we're pretty early, so we're working on creating all of those as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing. It sounds like that early stage of the partnership, I think, especially building those connections and figuring out how to work together with that theory in mind around the idea of healthier customers being better customers, and kind of get started and then maybe see what some of the data plays out based on the experience. Speaking of the partnerships, I want to pivot a little bit and talk about the process and how you all go through the process of trying to find partners to help you in this regard, particularly when it comes to improving financial health, and for Megan and Rochelle, how you go about finding those companies that are really serious about doing this kind of work and will make good partners for you. I think it's great that all three of you, I think, in your comments mentioned mission alignment as being really, really important. So I'd love to hear kind of what the process looks like for seeking out or engaging partners, and particularly for that, vetting for mission alignment. Any recommendations or best practices for how you can get a sense for whether people are going to be good partners, particularly to kind of get these kind of pilots kicked off? Megan, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, Josh did not pay me to say this, but Emerge is a great way to meet groups that are interested in doing this. We found a lot of great mission-aligned partners who, some of them are new to this idea of financial health and maybe come to Emerge for the first time. Some of them are real leaders in this space and are really eager, like, for example, Patelco, really eager to use whatever they learn to benefit the rest of the financial health network community. So Emerge, great place to go meet potential partners. I guess, to be candid, I've been to other conferences as well, more general employer conferences, been on the road for other events as well. And I think that the vetting process is a little bit more complex there. But I think that you kind of have, like any good partner manager, you kind of have different statistics and a different case that you make depending on where you are and who you're talking to. And I think that even at places where, for example, I went to an employer conference earlier this year, some of whom had never heard of financial health, some of whom didn't offer any type of benefit like this. But when you start talking about issues like turnover and productivity and the high stress of living paycheck to paycheck, people get it. And I think the question after that is not so much should we do this, but how and who should we partner with. So I think it's actually, I think Financial Health Network has done a great job at kind of creating good talking points for us to be talking about financial health in many different contexts. And it's about making that case and then figuring out if and how you might be a good partner to work with.
Yeah, thanks. And Sarah, curious from your perspective, in particular with either organizations or companies approaching you, or are you reaching out and trying to find those kind of partners that can really be helpful in building customers' financial health. What does the process look like for a financial services provider? And I'm curious as well how you consider things like the cost, right, of implementing these interventions. We've seen that they can have some really positive outcomes, but some of them can be more costly than others. How do you think about those decisions when those kind of opportunities emerge?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think let me talk a little bit about first working within an organization. So if you're a member of a financial institution or a for-profit company and you're looking and wanting in your specific role, you really believe in financial health and long-term financial success and inclusion, like these all sound great, but you can't do it alone. So when you're in your organization, you're looking around, you really need to think about who your key partners are going to be on this journey. Because it really is a journey, right? Everything that we're doing together, I mean, we're really delighted with the results, but we're like a few years into this, right? In terms of really understanding how we can leverage technology and programs and incentives to really help drive positive behavior. And so what worked here at Opportune was developing really strong partnerships with the groups that are interfacing with our customers. And so that was the folks in our retail network, the folks who are managing that retail network, also the folks who are managing our collections operations and having those conversations with customers and really helping them to understand the potential benefits of providing not only customers, but also putting those tools in the hands of their employees and making the employees feel like they were empowered not only to help customers through the products and services that we design and provide every day, but also being able to deepen our mission by providing access to these partner and community programs. And that is like highly motivating. I know I keep saying mission, but like as a mission-driven organization, a lot of our employees are here because they believe really strongly in that. That's what gets them up every day. They are really, really committed to helping our customers. And so being able to do that was something that was quite powerful and really meant a lot to the leaders of those teams. And so that was kind of first and foremost. And then as you go and you evaluate partners, you really need to think about what is going to kind of work best within your organization. I would say SpringFour was really easy, right? Rochelle and her team have done a fantastic job of building out a technology set that is really just plug and play. The S4 desktop is really easy to use. We even have the direct to our customers, and so they can go onto our website and they can search up local resources on their own. And that was kind of a relatively low maintenance program for us. And so that was great. And you just have to think about your organization and how much time and resources you want to kind of devote to that. On the Unidos US side, they had a couple of years, I think, in the field doing financial coaching, but they were still kind of building out their capacity and their infrastructure. And we recognized that this was much more of a, call it like a nurturing partnership where we were both coming to the table with a combined and unified sense of what we wanted to accomplish, but really committed to learning together about how we were going to build this. And so we kind of worked together very closely, meeting literally like on a weekly basis and I think we still continue to do that now for a couple years, helping each other learn, understand, analyze the data, kind of rebuild our processes, improve them. And so that is a long-term commitment and one that as an organization you need to be ready to make. And so again, assess your partners' offerings, their capabilities, how much you have to put into it from a technology and resources perspective, and really do those assessments before you get started, or at least try to envision what that's going to take so that you can make that partnership as successful as possible.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sarah. So we're coming up pretty close to the top of the hour, and thank you again to Sarah, Rochelle, and Megan for sharing with us. Again, attendees, if you have any questions, want to get a last one in, feel free to use your webinar tool to submit those our way. But before we ran out of time, I wanted to ask each of you if you had to give a bit of advice for your fellow financial health champions that you see at Emerge or you see at Network Summit that are trying to move forward and advance the case, particularly the business case for trying new things around and building the financial health of the customers. when it comes to just the nuts and bolts of actually making that case within an organization or institution, any recommendations or tips that you give your fellow network members around how to present this in a way that can really turn heads and get the kind of resources you need?
I can start. This is Megan. I'll go ahead and start, and Rochelle, please go next. I would say my top advice is to listen well to the partners that you're trying to talk to. Listen for the business or the social problem that they're trying to solve, and help them be successful in what they're trying to do. I think we've found that there's the most success when it's not a need that we articulated, but it's a need that our partner articulated, and we're able to find a solution that helps them meet their need.
This is Rochelle. I was just going to add that I think it's really important to find an internal champion. I think that innovation and change can be hard and sometimes slow going. So if you can work and align yourself with an internal champion that's willing to really make the case and do what's needed to see the solution adopted, that can go a long way to making things go quicker and better. And then kind of along the lines that Megan just mentioned is helping that partner be a hero. So showing that alongside of you with the solution that you're bringing to the table, it's a win-win for everyone involved. And when you do that, I think people are very excited and want to tout the success and show the work and impact that's being created. So really deep engagement, internal champion, and helping to showcase how your solution is going to be good for their brand, their company, and their customers. So making them a hero.
Great. And Sarah, any parting words?
I would, from the business perspective, from a perspective of a financial institution, I think when we sat down with our community partners, we've just been really transparent about understanding the costs of what are involved and kind of having a plan. And in some cases, it may be a phased plan of how to sort of test and learn our way into a sustainable solution. And that really does require a lot of relationship building and a lot of trust building. So again, I would say that kind of high touch engagement and relationship management with your partner is really important in that process.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again to Sarah, Rochelle, and Megan. We really appreciate you taking the time and sharing some of the insights that you've gained through your work around how partnerships can be supportive of financial health and how that flows through to support sustainable financial health business strategies. I'm sure your fellow members may seek you out at the Network Summit coming up in September, which I'll mention in a bit. But before we go, a couple of things that I wanted to mention that you may want to keep your eye out for if you're interested in some of the discussions that we had here today. The first is the nonprofit fintech exchange. All three of our panelists are members of this group. It's a interest group that any member of the Financial Health Network is able to join, that really focuses on bringing nonprofit and fintech providers together to explore collaboration, try to figure out ways to work together around these type of cross-sector financial health solutions, and swap insights on best practices for how to build these kind of partnerships and how to really make them come to life. We've been working on a guide to these types of partnerships based on the experiences of some of the exchange members and some of the grantees. That'll be forthcoming, we believe, next week. So keep your eye out for that if you're looking for some real tangible best practices for how to collaborate effectively. And if you'd like to join the exchange, you can visit the site here on our website and submit the form, and we'd be happy to have you. We meet a couple times a year and have some virtual engagement opportunities as well. And this work has been very generously sponsored by the Financial Solutions Lab, so more to come on that front. And then last but not least, the Member Summit coming up. If you have not registered yet, we certainly encourage you to do so. We're looking forward to a fabulous couple of days in Chicago, where all of the members of our network will come together and we'll be able to dive deep into topics like this and others. We'll have a session on the business case where we can hear more from some of your fellow members around how they're thinking about creating financial health solutions and a strategy that's really built on that alignment between customer and provider success. And the business case report I mentioned up top will be released in early September as well, so keep your eye out for that, where we'll provide a little bit more detail and share some analysis we did to look at how improvements in financial health can really influence and impact drivers of profitability within an institution and provide some intangible benefits as well. So more to come as we continue to explore the business case. And with that, I'd like to thank all of you for your time and attention today in joining us for the webinar. We appreciate having you and look forward to continuing the conversation. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.